In the last video, we saw Soo-hyuk enter the waiting room for the 4th floor and find out about the new features leaderboard and community, through which he learned that he was the top scorer in terms of achievement points with 44,000 points, and even Hee-jeong, who was second, was much behind him with only 8,000 points. They can also talk with their personal messaging system, and after Soo-hyuk clears the 4th floor and the shop opens, he buys a body enhancement elixir and the essence of lightning on her advice. He immediately falls asleep as he consumes them and obtains their full power. But when he wakes up, he finds himself in a strange space where he has to complete the 5th quest by experiencing enlightenment in 6 hours. Soo-hyuk thinks for a while and comes to the conclusion that he was the one who made the final decision in the tower, and carrying it out was his responsibility. The system recognizes that as valid enlightenment and sends him to the waiting room again. Now he has completed the tutorial in Challenger mode and gets an even more advanced status window than what other climbers have received. Also, he makes a contract with a god whose fake name appeals to him, and he later finds that his real name is Lifu, or Tactical Mind. After that, Soo-hyuk goes to the 6th floor, where he thinks about being teamed up with Hee-jeong, and the tower sends them together. There are other people with them too, a warrior named Seo-hasu and his priest daughter Harin, a foreign archer named Cole, and another priest named Chloe. Though Cole initially tries to attack Dabi, thinking of him as a threat, he quickly apologizes after learning that he was Soo-hyuk's companion. But Chloe is still not happy with him and often says that they should kill him, and even picks up a fight with Hee-jeong. Their challenge is to survive for 48 hours in a replica of Seoul that is full of zombies, and with her past experience and her skill of foresight, Hee-jeong leads the group safely to the hidden quest. The hidden quest will start when they break the corrupted egg, but Soo-hyuk listens to his 6th sense and purifies it instead, changing the hidden quest. Then they face the Seraphim Queen, and Soo-hyuk knocks her down before the priests purify her, and she thanks them for saving her and her child. They are really grateful to Soo-hyuk, and he gets a lot of achievement points for helping them. With this, the 6th floor is clear, and along the way, Hee-jeong kills Chloe and another man who would later become serial killers inside the tower, as she knew about them since her first attempt. The same team from the 6th floor assembles on the 7th floor too, and they have become much stronger thanks to some tips from Hee-jeong. Even though Soo-hyuk is the official leader of the group, she also has the same authority as him and can decide to bring anyone in or kick anyone out. This time their group has to face the Tiger Men, and if they kill more than 5, their king will appear. Initially, they run away while trying to kill as few monsters as possible, but then they change the plan and kill enough Tiger Men to bring their king out. He only looks strong but is very weak compared to Soo-hyuk. But since the latter let his guard down, Hasu is infected by the Tiger King's blood while being attacked by him and is about to turn into the Tiger King himself. When Soo-hyuk's god gives him a purification elixir in exchange for some stakes, and the middle-aged man is saved while gaining some tiger-like abilities. After that, Hee-jeong says that she senses a hidden quest in a cave somewhere, and Hasu leads them to a tiger den, which seems oddly unpleasant to him. And then they enter the cave to find out what is happening there. During Hee-jeong's first attempt in the tower, the teams were all different, but Hasu and Harin were still on the same team, and their group was facing the same challenge on the 7th floor. Hasu was tired and worn out, but he was still holding his sword against someone, daring them to repeat what they just said. Meanwhile, Harin was timidly hiding behind his back as she eagerly watched the people in front of her. Her own team had turned against her. 4 of them were facing her and Hasu with their weapons drawn, asking if he wanted all of them to die. The Tiger King would not follow them if they offered sacrifices, and that is why they want to sacrifice Harin, who is a priest and has the least combat ability out of all of them. But Hasu was adamant that he was not going to let his daughter die, and he decided to take her and run away. Now, as the Tiger King and his minions approach the climbers, they are impatient and ready to turn against their teammates. Harin is tightly clutching her dad's clothes, and her hands are trembling with fear, but he calms her and tells her to just trust him. The other members of the team are getting really frustrated now, and they think they have no chance of fighting against the Tiger King. They want Hasu to hand her over to them already, as she has already exhausted her stamina and can no longer even run. And as the man asks Hasu how long he thinks the Tiger King will wait, he slashes his arm right off. He shows no hesitation as he stops before the archer, and she is terrified of him. With a serious and threatening look on his face, Hasu says that they should sacrifice the person who just lost his arm first. The archer screams loudly, but she is still frozen from fear, and the other 2 members of the group now target Hasu. They rush in for a pincer attack while saying that they were supposed to be on the same side, yet he was attacking them. They also ask him if he thinks he can take on all of them alone. But Hasu is really able to fight against the two warriors and fatally wounds both of them quickly. Now only the archer is left, and as she draws her bow, she calls him a murderer and shouts at him not to come any closer. But before she can even take aim, he has already stabbed her. The archer is also dead, and Hasu says that the people who were just asking him to sacrifice his daughter had no right to call him a murderer. He offers the 4 fallen humans to the Tiger King, but he is still demanding more sacrifice. Hasu realizes that these people were not enough, and now there is only one thing he can do. He asks Harin if she has the shield spell he bought for her the last time, and she breaks into tears upon realizing what he was about to do. She wants to ask him if he was thinking of sacrificing himself, but she cannot even begin to speak properly through her tears. But Hasu smiles and tells her to just cast the spell and close her eyes for a second. He tells her that her dad really loves her more than anything in the world. With that, he stands with his back to the Tiger King, asking him if he was waiting because all his minions were his children and he understood the emotions of a father. And in that case, he wants the Tiger King to wait for just a little while longer. Hasu consoles his weeping daughter and tells her to stop crying. He says that he is sorry for not being able to protect her till the very end, and he wants her to safely reach the next floor. And as he says that, the Tiger King attacks him and kills him. With that, the Tiger King has received enough sacrifices and is satisfied, so he leaves without bothering Harin. But the story of this time was completely different. Not only had the father and daughter duo found a reliable team of strong warriors, Soo-hyuk had even brought him back from being turned into a monster. They are walking quietly inside the tiger's den, and Soo-hyuk whispers to Hee-jeong, asking her about the stake percentage. He tells her that his ownership stake was at 21%, and he wants to know if it's okay. She is shocked and flustered as she asks him if the pre-sponsorship penalty ate 20% of his stakes, which Soo-hyuk affirms. She tells him that even if it were 20%, it wouldn't be much of a problem for him right now, and he could always deduct it later on. The rest, she would tell him patiently in the waiting room. Then Soo-hyuk moves on to the next question. Was the place they were going to also a hidden mission? Hee-jeong replies that it was not a hidden quest but a hidden room like the one he found on the 2nd floor, where he battled the orc warrior Karaksh. But they are not going to fight here, and she is sure of it. Then he asks her if she defeated the Tiger King in her first attempt too, and Hee-jeong does not want to talk about that horrible past right now. Half of her party members died while fighting it, and that time she felt the impact of Soo-hyuk's ability for the first time. He is surprised and asks if he did not impress her on the 6th floor, and Hee-jeong replies that they spent their entire time on the 6th floor casting spells and hiding from the queen. Soo-hyuk finds that bit embarrassing, but then he asks her what would happen if they offered a sacrifice to the Tiger King. Hee-jeong tells him the horrible odds. Only one person out of the group of 6 would survive in that case. The 7th floor was like a trap that tested the determination and unity of the group. It was not that hard going against the Tiger King as the minions could be taken down easily, and at the end it would be a 6 versus 1 fight with the boss. But not everyone could realize that it could not be solved by running away, and Soo-hyuk also figured that out quite late. Hee-jeong tells him that his initial judgment was also not wrong either. They were faced with something they had no idea about, and in that situation, it was normal for them to run away. And now Soo-hyuk thinks that even if he had decided to fight from the start, he would have made the same mistake of letting his guard down, and Hasu would have turned into a monster anyway. Hee-jeong has more things to tell him, and she says that in his last life, he did not use a shield, and she thinks that he is probably uncomfortable while using it in the battle. He is curious, and she tells him that he was more dynamic and aggressive back then. Soo-hyuk starts analyzing his fighting style until now, and he feels that he has been fighting by steadily blocking the blows using his shield and then using his mace to counterattack. Hee-jeong asks him if he was considering taking off the shield in any case. She wants him to do it, but she tells him that she is not pressuring him. Soo-hyuk replies that he will think about it as he stares at his shield. He asks Hee-jeong what kind of weapon he used the most in his previous life, and she replies that he used the axe for the longest period of time. In between, he sometimes switched weapons, but he used the axe most of the time and even used one on the 94th floor, where he died. Soo-hyuk is surprised, and Hee-jeong adds that he always said that there was something that felt missing when he used an axe. He has heard enough for now, and he thanks her, just as Hasu loudly exclaims about something he had just found. He is holding a wooden shield while a magnificent sword is stuck on top of a stone, and Hasu says that this was Soo-hyuk's. Soo-hyuk reads its information through the status window and finds that it was the Tiger King's long sword that he planned to use when he became a human. Its true power would only be shown when it was used by the Tiger King. and as Hasu asks him again what he thought about the sword, Soo-hyuk can clearly see how much he wants him to refuse. He tells him that it was totally his, and Hasu begins coddling the sword as soon as he hears this. He looks as happy as a child, and Soo-hyuk thinks that he was trying to be really sly. And then Hasu lifts the sword out of the stone and sniffs it, saying that this was not the source of the foul smell troubling him. He walks around sniffing the walls of the cave a bit while his anxious daughter watches him, and then he approaches a giant boulder. He exclaims that this was what he was sensing and removes the heavy boulder to the side. There is a powerful looking axe there and a medicinal ball on a small pillow, along with a skull and some bones. This much was expected by Hasu. But there was a problem. The weapons were protected by a curse. The medicine-looking ball was actually the Bear King's gallbladder, which the Bear King vomited when he became a human, and it contained his power. And the weapon was the Bear King's double-edged axe that he wanted to use when he became a human. But it seems that he could not do so, and his resentment resides deep within the axe. Hee-jeong casts a spell and breaks the curse protecting the treasure. And then, she once again advocates that Soo-hyuk should get both of these things because his sponsor god saved their group from trouble. Hasu and Harin are glad to accept this decision, and even Cole agrees with it. Soo-hyuk also gladly accepts the rewards and suggests that they should keep hunting the monsters for the remaining time. And Dobby is also excited, as he wants to hunt some monsters. The time passes quickly, and then when the timer hits 0, the group has cleared the 7th floor. The system calculates the achievement points of different climbers and distributes them down. Soo-hyuk is in the waiting room, staring at the holographic screen in front of him, and Dobby is taking a peaceful nap on his bed. Soo-hyuk is very serious about something, and he wonders if what he is doing is enough. The system window in front of him asks him if he would like to register, and he decides that he is going to register for the guidebook. With this, the chapter ends. What is this guidebook, and why does Soo-hyuk need it when he already has Hee-jeong with him? And what is the secret behind the ownership stake? And how will Soo-hyuk's problem be solved? These are some of the most intriguing questions right now, and we will gradually find the answer to them in the coming videos. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.